Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is heroquest, and today we are taking a look at Delve. Delve is a dungeon building adventure by Richard Launius and Pete Shirey, published by Indie Boards and Cards in 2017, is for ages 14 and up, 2 to 4 players, 60 minutes per session, and appears to be a board game. Full disclaimer, I got this for about $3 at my kinda local Goodwill. So it was pretty irresistible. The price was right. What can I say? Although, not to judge a game by its cover, I would have picked this up and looked at it regardless, even if it was full price, even if I'd only seen the side or the top, because the name appeals to me, and yeah, everything about this cover appeals to me. I actually really like this cartoony art style. It's got its own character, its own flavor. It's lovely, the art direction here, the illustration choices. So let's delve right in. You could taste the regret as soon as I was saying that. This is going to be a rather maybe quick and kind of dirty unboxing. Not in the sense that it's, a filthy secondhand product. This was actually pretty close to brand new. In fact, I'm fairly certain it was never played, and the reason for that will become evident pretty soon. But because I don't really have the resources to mock up the game and go through it, we're going to look at the components, and then you can discover for yourself if it's something that you would like to research more about and perhaps acquire for some monetary value. Brave delvers from across the realm have journeyed to seek their fortune within the dungeons of Skull Cavern. Gold, treasures, and perilous encounters await behind every door. Grab your gear, sharpen your swords, and watch out for those kobolds. I forgot to look at the back of the box. Barcode for anybody that needs that. This is not a children's toy. No 0 to 3. Look at how sad this pathetic loser baby is because he's too young to play Delve. Get aged, baby. Brave delvers from across the... I've already read that. This picture is extremely low res. Like, all of the rest of the graphics on the box are beautiful high res illustrations. And then you've got the board and cards here. Like, what the heck? Was this like a 64 by 64 pixel image that they stretched in Microsoft Paint? They didn't even use like nearest neighbor pixelation. I don't know, it's kind of got this weird charm, like I'm kind of appealed to it. Like it looks like it should be a Windows 98 game that I want to play. I'm getting really off topic here. That was so strange. You don't see that every day. The object of the game. In Delve, players guide their band of adventurers through the dungeons of Skull Cavern. Each turn, you will place a dungeon tile and an adventure to explore the dangers below and search for loot. You'll place a dungeon tile and an adventure? An adventure what? You'll just place the adventure? When a room is completed, delvers must fight for their share of the golden treasure. If a player manages to complete a room alone, they must overcome the dangerous encounters before collecting their riches. Delve combines tile laying and an immersive narrative experience in a new and exciting way. We'll be the judge of that, won't we? Interesting to note, the contents are all presented here on the very first page of the book. I love that. Love the contents being first, front and center, everything laid out, showing you what you're supposed to get with the game. Then the component anatomy. We have lots of things in this box, which you will now see. And everything was actually wrapped. These two boards were together as so, wrapped in plastic. Just cut that loose before the video, completely robbing you of the ASMR experience. Maybe I'll post that video on the Patreon. We have experience tokens, we have a sun token, and we have this amazing wizard in a compact. You open it up and there's no mirror, but he will, through divination and conjuring, let you know if you have the correct amount of blush or foundation applied. I don't know what that's for yet. This board has no tokens to punch out. It is a game board. We have things to keep track of here. The sunset, which the sun tile doubtless will travel upon. The starting point, differing depending on how many players are going to be playing the game, with 2 players starting the sunset here, 4 players giving you just a couple more spots, a couple more gaming rounds, I believe, before you must stop. Reminds me of my good old days in Dragonfire Castle. Going in, getting lost in the labyrinth, bitten by vampires, destroyed by death knights, robbing the dragon of his treasure, but not before getting completely toasted by the dragon's fire, by the large reptilian creatures, literal flames roasting me, just so we're clear, and then failing to get out and being absolutely trapped in dragon fire because it's... Never mind all that. The spoils meter. We are given 12 spots. We've got bags first, treasure chest first. Don't know what that means yet. We have a combat meter on here as well. Sword icon followed by 20 spaces. And then we have gold encounters and treasure spots, probably where piles of tokens or cards are going to go once you really get into the layout of the game. Looks like a lot in here, and it is indeed packed full of stuff. We're going to dissect the contents. We have a few Ziplocs that this came with, perhaps originally, or perhaps they were supplied by the previous owner. We have several of these Delver tokens, and you could not get any more plain. They're just little plastic chits that come in 4 different colors. There are 5 of each, and they are meant to be stickered, and we will sticker these with our Delvers. And for Delvers, we have 4 different factions. These removed stickers are my fault. I took these off and affixed them to the tiles here. We have Wraiths, or the white faction. We've got the black faction of sellswords, or humans. We've got this blue faction, or perhaps teal, I'm undecided, of kobolds, and we have the forest folk. I had to look and see what they were called because I forgot. They are the green, or I guess yellow, actually, faction. These are the faction mats, and they basically just have reference information for you. Each faction, the sellswords, the kobolds, love these designs on these guys. The wraiths, these are probably my favorites, however, and the forest folk all have different perks, and they have different configurations of Delvers. Of Delver roles, we have the Brute, the Leader, the Mage, and the Thief, but each of these factions has 2 of these in their 5 Delver layouts. So 2 Brutes for the sellswords, then 1 Leader, 1 Mage, 1 Thief. Then for the kobolds, we have 2 Thieves, 1 Leader, 1 Brute, 1 Mage, and so on until we've reached the logical extreme of every configuration when we have 2 of one of 4 roles and 3 of the other. That made sense, right? These player aids on this side are the same for all factions, and then you get a reminder of what your faction perk is, your faction ability. That's on both sides. Mercenary tactics. Before you roll your dice for battle or fight, you may discard 1 experience point to gain 3 swords. Same things on this side. But these tokens represent the Delvers, and they have the different roles in the corners, so you know exactly what your Delver is capable of, where they go, where they can move, and so on. We've got additional symbols on each of the stickers for the tokens, and the tokens are double-sided, and we have another set of stickers that go on the opposite side of those tokens. I have not put them on there, but that's where they go. Now, when this particular Delver is involved in a fight, the dice icons here in the upper left corner will tell you how many and which dice you will roll when this Delver is involved in the battle, fight, or test. And if the Delver has a magical rift symbol in the corner of their tile, then they will gain 3 combat when in a battle or fight in a room with a magic rift. Simple so far, right? The game comes with encounter cards, which consist of scenarios and then choices and their consequences. It comes with 2 cubes in each of the 4 faction colors. I just dropped a bunch of dungeon tiles onto my floor. It's not the first time. I actually did that a few minutes ago too. It wouldn't be an Ash video recording if I didn't drop something on the floor, let me tell you. The game comes with a ton of these dungeon tiles. We'll go over how to use those in just a second, but I want to show you the dice. They're large. They're the 18 or 20 millimeter size. I don't care for this size of die, but it's okay. I guess dice manufacturers, or maybe even game producers, think that it's easy for dice manufacturers to make these when the dice are bigger if they need custom symbols engraved on them. And we know that that's not the case, but maybe it's a misconception. Or maybe they just want the large dice for kids to be able to play with and not try to eat. I don't know. They're big, they're fun, I'm complaining. They have different configurations of symbols though. The black dice have sword, sword, and then gold coin, 2 sword, gold coin, and sword reroll. And yes, that reroll does mean what you think it means. You get to have the sword, and then you get to roll the die again and add on the results of whatever you have rolled next. This means that you could roll the sword and reroll symbol again, and then you get to roll the die a 3rd time. This does mean that you could get the sword and reroll symbol again, and then you get to roll the die a 4th time. This does mean that you get the idea. Plenty of these dice to go around. We have far fewer of the purple dice, and their configuration is different. We have coin, coin, sword, 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 coin, sword, 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 coin, and coin reroll. Now this reroll does mean what you think it means. You could I'm not going to go through that bit again. Finally, we have the red dice. There are only 2 of these. They are the most powerful. We've got 2 swords, 3 swords, coin, sword, sword, reroll, coin, sword. 2 swords, if I didn't say that already. For a blessing, the art on the cards is human-made because it was 2017. Nobody had access to prompts and all that garbage yet. We have treasure cards, and I'll just go through these very quickly. 1 coin, 3 coin, 2 coin. I mean, it's pretty simple. These are your rewards. You could have added a D6, I think, and just put 1 coin, 2 coins, and 3 coins results all over. And you could have adjusted the probability depending on what your probability was supposed to be. I imagine it would have been far less of a cost. Now, I called these treasure cards, but that was an error. These are gold cards, and they are named appropriately. We actually do have a separate treasure deck of treasure cards, and these are they. A glorious dungeon hoard, 4 gold. That's awesome. When collected, draw 2 gold cards. Collect 1 and place the other on the bottom of the gold deck. That's fun. Cursed coin. When collected, gain 2 XP. Dragonfall arrow. When collected, gain 1 XP. We have numbers in the bottom corner. This is a 1. This is a -1. We have a few dragonfall arrows. Then an eternal elixir. When collected, gain 2 XP. Each other player with at least 1 delver in this room gains 1 XP. We've got a couple of weapons. The King's Blade. After you fail a fight during an encounter, you may place this on the bottom of the treasure deck to succeed instead. The lightning bow at the end of the game. This is worth 2 points if have at least 1 dragonfall arrow. The talisman of Zuz. After you fail a test during an encounter, you may place this on the bottom of the treasure deck to succeed instead. Tome of Shadows, Seer's Sapphire. Okay, we're only 2 pages in on this manual, so it looks like you're supposed to read just the titles of the consequences out loud, or the choices out loud for the adventure cards or the encounter cards. Wow. Goofs and gaffs, that's all we do on this channel. So that makes me think that someone else draws the card and reads it to you. Next we have dungeon tiles, which I have not looked at with you yet. We have, as I said, quite a few. They look like this. You're going to have symbols on them, which are going to be called out by the player aids on the faction mats. Gold, sun, gold, gold, sun, gold, gold, no sun. Corridor, corners, then we have parts of a room, lots of gold in there, lots and lots of gold in here, although you can kind of tell that they're in 3 separate areas, 3 distinctly different areas. Looks like we have a door here, or maybe that's not a door, or maybe that is a dead end. Ooh. Yeah, and it just goes on like that. So these are going to be building some pretty interesting configurations of rooms and corridors in these dungeons. You advance the sun marker whenever you place a tile that has a sun symbol. So for setup, it's pretty simple. There's just 13 steps. Each player chooses a faction, takes the corresponding mat, delver tokens, cubes. You receive 3 XP tokens. The game board gets set to one end of the play space. Each player places their cubes on the 0 spaces of the combat and spoils tracks. So you are using your faction's cubes to keep track of your combat and spoils. That's why there's 2 for each color. And then you advance these as you go up in these numbers. Sun marker goes on the sun track space. The entrance tile gets placed against the bottom of the board, but the corridor pointing away from the game board. And this is what they mean when they say game board. Shuffle the gold cards together face down to form the gold deck, and it will go here. It will go here. The treasure deck will go here. The encounters deck will go here. Each player draws 3 dungeon tiles, randomly determine a first player, and give them the first player marker, which is the little wizard in the compact. That eyeliner does not go with that mascara! Gameplay loop is basically place a dungeon tile, draw a dungeon tile, place a delver, which is optional, resolve completed rooms. We have 1 entrance tile here, enter if you dare. It's the same on both sides, it's easy to locate in the mess of dungeon tiles. You'll place that here, and then we have some rules on tile placement. So there are legal ways to place tiles and illegal ways to place tiles. It's fine to complete rooms, it is fine to complete corridors, and in this chart of tile placement do's and don'ts, figure A, the tile could be placed here as the corridors align with both corridors already in play. And by the way, this is the same tile in all of these examples, A through D, just oriented in different places, placed in different positions on the existing J-shaped game board in progress. Example B, this tile is legal as well because the orientation is the corridor aligning with the already played corridor tile here. Note that the tile could be placed in another orientation so long as the corridors align. C, this tile is legal to place because of the empty space. The empty space is placed adjacent to the existing tile, and the corridor sides do not violate any other rule. So you're basically just walling off an existing room at that point. C is fine as well. D is not fine because of the corridor termination. It could be rotated so that the empty space on this tile aligns with the edge instead. At some point, you're going to be playing with your delvers. They're all going to be face down, and when you're ready to resolve tiles, you'll turn your delvers face up, if applicable. And which delvers you have will kind of determine the advantages and disadvantages you have, since each role in a delver faction has access to different abilities. Overall, they are all fairly balanced. They all have a pretty decent shot of competing in a fair way, with their own abilities being kind of mirrors of one another. Their advantages are all equally situationally important, so that's pretty sterile. Alan, Betty, and Cedric have delvers in a room that was just completed by Alan. That room contains 2 treasure chests and 9 gold bags. After rolling dice for his kobold leader in the room, Alan has the highest combat total of 7 swords. He collects the 2 treasure cards in the room. He also collects 4 gold cards, which is half the 9 gold cards rounded down. Betty and Cedric tie for having the second highest combat total at 5 swords. Betty's turn is next, so she holds the tiebreaker. Betty collects half the remaining gold cards rounded down. You're going through and placing tiles. Hopefully I'm not going to make a complete fool of myself placing the tiles in such a way that doesn't make sense. I don't know if I'd be able to do this or not. I think it'd be fine. I think the empty spaces can basically block off rooms, and that'd be fine. But I think if you're going to place corridors, you have to be more careful, right? So this should all be legal. You have to make sure corridors line up, but contiguous rooms don't really matter in the slightest. You can wall, that's a corridor. That's a corridor. We can't do that at all. We could possibly, that's also a corridor. Ooh, we could do this. And that's really going to challenge whoever's trying to complete that. Yeah, so I think this would all be legal here. And now by virtue of how this all works, I have created a room that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 treasure bag tiles, right? And then 1 treasure chest, something like that. I don't know if I'm interested enough to really delve into the, Fun fact, if you take this D and put it at the end, you get elved, which is the opposite of gnomed. I'm most interested in the encounter cards. That's what I'm most interested in, apart from all of this. I think the actual overview and presentation part of this video is done. I'd like to look at these. The armor-clad skeleton of a fallen delver lies in the dust and dark of the room. Something in its hand catches the light of your torch. As you reach for the object, the delver's bony fingers snap shut. See, that's great. This is game-agnostic text. I think that you could use these in a variety of games, but it's the choices and consequences part that will make them pretty specific to this game. Do you snatch the object, or do you fight the fallen delver? At this point, you are fine, but as soon as we make a choice, if you want to snatch the object, lose 1 XP. That's not going to translate to all games. Succeed. Draw 2 gold cards, collect 1, and place the other on the bottom of the gold deck. And then, if you want to fight the fallen delver, ignore all of your rerolls in this fight. If you succeed, collect 1 additional gold card, and then we've got 2 white dice here. So you could translate that to a game of your choice and still make use of a deck like this. What fool dare enter my sanctum, bellows a voice from the dark. 2 red eyes burn like embers in the black of the dungeon. The ground shudders as it slithers into the light. A dragon. Good gods, it's a dragon. See, that is top tier. This is the most valuable thing out of all of this, and doubtless it's had probably some of the most work put into it, other than the actual dungeon tiles. Do you flee? Fail. Collect 1 gold card. Collect nothing else. Or do you fight the dragon? 2 red, 1 purple. If you succeed, collect 1 additional treasure card. Yeah, it wouldn't take too much, I think, to actively fit these, or maybe that's not right, they're exactly the right term. Translate, really, these cards into another game like HeroQuest or something else. Skeletons are scattered around the room, their bones picked clean and white. As you check each one, hoping to find a coin or 2, a beetle emerges from an eye socket to startle you. You instinctively crush the bug and continue your search for errant riches. Not a second later, a swarm of the beetles take wing and snuff out your torch. You feel them envelop you, and suddenly you know why the bones were so white. This is amazing storytelling. incredible narratives on the cards. They didn't have to go that hard. Do you flee, succeed, but collect no gold cards, or do you fight the man-eating beetles? 1 red, 2 white. If you fail, collect 1 less gold card. A couple more of these encounter cards. The Dwarven Princess. That is so amazing. Careful not to trip over her beard. Look at this. Look at that. That's incredible. That is so, so cool. You can negotiate with the Dwarven Princess or fight the dwarves. Like, I would donate this game and keep just this card. There's another Dwarven Princess. She has a majestic battle goat in both of these, and her beard is mentioned in both of these. They are very adamant of her beard. It's a real dwarf, that's for sure. If you give back what was stolen from this realm, I will let you keep 6 of those greedy fingers of yours. Do you keep your fingers, or do you fight the Dwarven Princess? Incredible. Another Dwarven Princess card. Old Warlock, Old Warlock, Old Warlock. Look at this. I have to point this out before I go. Old Warlock, okay? He doesn't notice you pilfering through his belongings, but then like this next one, the text has to get smaller because there's more going on here. But then like this next one, everything is just comically small because of the choices that you're given. The Old Warlock sends a bolt of purple mana just shy of your head. I really appreciate these more than anything, and I've spent probably entirely too much time on them. It's time for me to go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon in another exciting adventure. Or delve, as it were. And until next time, brave heroes, as always, have a fantastic rest of your journey. Until next time, farewell for now. This does mean that you could get the sword and reroll symbol again, and then you could roll that 4 times. This does mean that you could get the sword and reroll symbol again, and then you could roll that 4 times. This does mean that you could get the sword and reroll symbol again, and then you could roll that 4 times. This does mean that you could get the sword and reroll symbol again, and then you could roll that 4 times.